Well, Jared's getting right after it today. As soon as I said that, I made him drop a wrench. He's got the cooling package all on there now. Oh, he's just adjusting his turbo by the looks of it. We've got oil going in.
Yeah, he's got it. Oil.
Oil's going in it right now. We're just waiting for a couple of small hoses for return lines for on that large hydraulic line that comes up from the transmission and goes to the cooler there. So we should maybe have this running by the end of tonight. Well, we're back working on the disc today. We're replacing walking beam bearings and seals. We've got this right hand side done. We're working on the left. Now we ended up doing a couple more things to this toolbox here. We put a little hook on here and tied it to a rope just so that we don't lose it. But just so that if the wind gets after this, it's not going to blow it open. But I ended up putting this piece of 2x3 on here. This is just a scrap piece of tubing, just so that when this lid goes up, it doesn't smash down around the back side and end up stretching this hinge out on it. So we've got to get some parts in here yet, but that's done there. And we'll just hook this with a hook like that, and that'll keep it kind of secure and locked. So we've got some blocks set in on this side. We just need to get it jacked up, pull the wheels off, and we'll get this walking beam out of there. Alright, so we got this one off the ground, and this one has got some wear to it. You can kind of see the wiggle in the walking beam. So we got to get the wheels off, and then we can get that bolt out of the center of that walking beam. Alright, we've got the walking beam out. Now we're just going to pound the bushings out of it, and then we'll have the bearings out rather. We'll find the new parts in it. Alright, I just got this walking beam on this left hand side. Got the old bearings and races pounded out. New races and new bearings and seals put in. I had one grease zerk to replace on the bottom of that walking beam, so we're just going to jack it up into place. All that. Well, Jared's got this 4250 all back together now, and we're just getting ready to start this. He's getting the fuel system primed up, and we're going to start it for the first time here. Pull the filter now. Just unclip the filter and don't let it come off. Just let the air out.
It likes to come off on the bottom though.
I think you got it primed enough.
Think so?
Yeah. Prime hard.
Yeah, somewhat.
Push that down farther.
No, it's running.
All right, so we are gonna fire it. Hopefully it starts. Too easy. Wow. Might as well run her. Get the door open. Get it out of here. Well, I honestly thought that was going to start hard. It's got a little air in the system yet. Well, I got Nate bringing up the disc ripper now. We did get that disc done. I didn't film the bushings going into the wing. Looks like he's got a lot of crap on there on the shanks, but we're gonna wait for Jered to come back up the road here. We're just gonna pull that disc ripper in. We've got one disc that's off in there. It's in the parts box.
Boy, that thing runs good.
Well, all we gotta do now is get the hood on it, put it on the manure pump. Roger, he's got a GoPro that he's gonna slap on there.
That thing just wants to do something. It just wants to do something.
We got this Jamesway spreader inside, and we're going to hook up the linkage coupler, if you will, to go on these parallel arms, and then these arms here are what hooks to the injector itself. So we got a couple of brackets to put on there, and then they're going to come up underneath the injector. It makes for faster hookup times. The injector that we were using on this spreader, the damn thing was put together backwards, and the only way we had to hook and unhook this thing, we had to pin it. So that made for a real pain in the ass. So now we're gonna be able to set this thing up the way it's supposed to be set up. All right, go down. All right, so we've got these units on there. We're gonna, okay, don't have them go all the way. That's what's gonna hook up to the injector here. We're gonna hook that up tomorrow. So that's gonna do it here for tonight. We've got to get our hose coupler on the top, and we've got everything all hooked up here. So
I got the 4250 down here on the lagoon pump, kind of just letting it work, making sure the head is okay, making sure all my seals are good. These newer pumps are really good for testing your tractors out after you get done doing something like that. They work them enough to get them hot. You don't have to drive them, you know, sitting in place. You can look at them, make sure all your seals are good and whatnot. Driving up the road, you don't really get that. Pulling something in a field, yeah, you'll get it hot pulling a 5 or 6 bottom plow or whatever you're pulling, but you're in the cab the whole time. You can't really walk around it and look at your seals. So I like putting it on the newer pump. That's a good spot for it. It seems real happy. It's pumping real good. These manure pumps, they'll take quite a bit of horsepower. Even the 4620 on this lagoon pump, it'll draw it down quite a bit. And I don't know, it just seems real happy on there. It doesn't have any leaks. Everything's good. It looks fine. I figured I'd step away from it and talk to you guys for a little bit. I hope the wind noise ain't too bad. I know the tractor's a little loud. Boy, them 466s, they really sound good. But I had all the head work done at Syracuse Crank. They did all the machining on it. They can really do anything you want. They can do anything from complete rebuilds to get you parts. They'll get you, you know, head bolts and piston, whatever you want. Pistons, rings, liners, head bolts, gaskets. That's where I got all my stuff from. So they do good work down there. I'll continue to use them for sure. But I'm gonna shut this off for now, and I'll get over there and shut the tractor down and do a little talking where you guys can actually look at it. If I got a little close to it, I don't think you'd be able to hear me. It's been quite loud. So catch you then. Alright, I got this 4250 shut off now. Hopefully you guys can hear me a little bit better without this thing screaming in the background. But everything's doing what I want it to. It's not overheating. All my seals are good. It's not dripping anything. It seems like this oil filter housing has a little bit of a leak here between the housing and the block. I'll have to get a gasket for that. I thought that it looked like it was leaking because there was, well, I cleaned this up a little. There was sludge and everything all over here, and I kind of suspected that thing, but now I can confirm that that is leaking. I'll get that fixed. I got a couple other things coming for this tractor anyway, like a seat. I got a seat coming. Well, a seat backing. That thing's pretty well destroyed, but I'll get this thing in the shop, get the hood on it, get that straight pipe off of there. That thing's just incentive for some of our operators to beat on this thing. But yeah, everything's running good. I got to drain the water out of the radiator. I like putting water in these radiators after I do a major job like this, just so I can kind of find my leaks, and if something is leaking, it's not wasting coolant, it's just wasting water. So I actually have degreaser in this as well, because this tractor, from the head gasket going, it had quite a bit of oil in the radiator that I noticed, quite a bit of sludge and whatnot. So that degreaser will have to be flushed out of there a couple of times. But I'm gonna get this thing up to the shop. We did a couple other things to this, like delete the ether injection and the air aneroid. The ether injection used to go in this port right here. The air aneroid used to go in here. That aneroid is responsible for a lot of problems that people used to have with these older John Deeres. It used to be these things didn't have a lot of bottom end. A lot of guys would complain about their 30, 40, 50 series John Deeres. Oh, these things, they have no bottom end. They're gutless under 1500, or they're gutless under 1700. You know, you'd hear all that. You know, my case 1370 would just lug all day. Well, the reason these wouldn't lug is because of this aneroid right here. This is on the top of this injection pump. This thing will not allow the injection pump to give the tractor fuel until it sees a certain amount of boost. You know, there was a line that came from that intake manifold over to here to this aneroid, and it would push on a spring through a diaphragm, and it would allow the pump to give fuel once that spring was pushed. But it would only push it at, like, let's say 10 psi or something, so you'd have no bottom end. You'd have to wait until you got that much out of the turbo. John Deere did that for both emissions and fuel economy. Now, fuel economy, no, not so much, but emissions, it was more because of emissions. You know, you wouldn't get so much black smoke. That black smoke out of the stack is basically caused by the engine not being on top of the turbo yet. It doesn't have it spooled up, and it's dumping fuel, and it doesn't have enough air to burn all the fuel. So, well, you get black smoke, or at least that's how it is on a diesel. On a gasoline engine, it's not like that, but on a diesel, you get black smoke when you have more fuel than you do air. Well, anyway, you delete that thing, pull these 4 bolts off right here. There's 4 10mm bolts. Pull those off. There is a bolt and a jam nut in the bottom. Take those out. You discard those, basically. Save them, whatever you want to do. Put that back on, and then delete your line that goes to your air intake, because a lot of the times these things will have a ruptured diaphragm, or you'll get a leak in this line, and then you basically have a boost leak at that point in time. But that will solve your issues with not having any bottom end on, say, a 6030, 4430, 4450, 4440, any of those model tractors. I'm not sure about the 55s. I don't know what they have. I don't know what the 55s and 60s have. I think they're pretty similar, but we don't have any of those on the farm, so I can't really look at them and give you my opinion. But that will fix that. That will not gain you any horsepower. Nothing. It will not gain you any horsepower. It will just gain you bottom end. You will put the same amount of horsepower down, but bottom end, again, will be increased. Now, if you want to increase the horsepower, which I do not recommend this, I would not do this to our 4250. I have not done this to our 4250 because, well, this is going to be operated by a menagerie of people that this would just be incentive to beat on it. But you take these 4 bolts off the back of this injection pump, right? This window, you guys can kind of see it. There's four bolts. They're all 4 of them are 10mm. Take those off. Inside there's going to be a lock. There's going to be a nut and a stud sticking out that's got a flathead screwdriver end on it. That nut, you want to loosen that nut. Turn that screw in with your flathead screwdriver. Do not turn it in too much. Do not turn it in too little. You know, maybe go a turn, test that out, see what it's like, whatever. You don't want to go too much, because then you'll go into full rack, and you don't want to do that. And your tractor will basically be full throttle all the time. But that'll work on pretty much any 30, 40, 50 series that I know of. Even a 6030. A 6030 has the same style pump. This is a Bosch inline pump. I think a 6030 has a P pump. This is actually an A pump, Bosch A pump, but I think a 6030 has a P pump, which was actually just slightly bigger. But that's how you do that. And yeah, I think I'm gonna get this thing up to the shop, get the hood back on it, and call it a day. Get that muffler on there.
Well, folks, that is going to do it for this video. That's going to take care of getting that hitch on the back of this spreader here. These little hookups that go on the oh, the parallel linkage, I guess you'd call it. So in the next video, we will hook up this injector to this spreader. It's all ready to go right now. This video is getting a little long. So I want to thank you for watching. Remember, leave me a thumbs up. Drop me a comment down below. And in the next couple days, we'll get this injector mounted to this spreader and get the hose hooked up. Get it all ready to go so we can start injecting manure here when the weather straightens out. Thanks for watching.